And let's get going.
A high five from the Fanatic, or at least a handshake, as Bryce Harper is held up, the champion, says the Philly Fanatic. So you always know it's for real when the big green guy here is here as well. So the press conference about to get underway on the top of the first base dugout here at Spectrum Field. And for that, we'll send it down to the voice of the Philadelphia Phillies, Tom McCarthy.
On behalf of the Philadelphia Phillies organization and our extended family here in Clearwater, Florida, I would like to welcome everyone to Spectrum Field. Now, before we advance to our opening statement and questions, we would like to introduce some of the special folks who are with us on this great afternoon. Included on that list are Bryce's mom and dad, Sherry and Ron, who are here, as well as Bryce's wife, Kayla. Guys, I know you've already been welcomed over and over again, but let me add our wholehearted welcome to the great city of Philadelphia and the Phillies family. As everybody knows who's been back in Philadelphia, the fans are pretty pumped up about what's transpired over the last couple of days. And with a little thumbnail on how excited those fans are, we'd like you to look to Fanavision for young Tyler's reaction to his mom telling him about the signing of Bryce Harper.
Guess what? Guess who's a Philly?
Bryce Harper? What? What? No! No!
Yeah.
No! He's going. He's a Dodger.
No, he just signed a deal.
No! You're joking!
I'm serious.
No!
Yeah.
No! How long?
13 years.
Oh my God! 13 years!
Yep.
We are winning one World Series.
Oh, that's great. We'd also like to recognize our ownership group. Jim Buck is here, as well as John Middleton and his wife Lee is here as well. Up here on the dais, along with Bryce and John, is Bryce's agent, Scott Boras, whose staff, made up of Tyler Beckstrom, Mike Fiore, and Bill Glovna, are also here, as well as Phillies general manager Matt Klentak, who will speak in just a moment. During the great history of the Philadelphia Phillies, there have been many acquisitions that have helped move the franchise forward, both on and off the field. From Steve Carlton and Pete Rose in the 70s, Jim Thome in the early 2000s, to the acquisition and eventual re-signing of Cliff Lee, the trade of Roy Halladay, to finally the signings and trades of current Phillies players like Jake Arrieta, Andrew McCutchen, David Robertson, Gene Segura, and JT Realmuto. Many have altered in such a positive way the fate of this incredible franchise. Today, we celebrate a franchise-altering signing for our city and our organization as we introduce Bryce Harper to the city of Philadelphia officially. So without further ado, please welcome Phillies General Manager Matt Klentak for a few words and to officially introduce Bryce to Philadelphia.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you all for being here today. It's a pretty cool setup out here. This is obviously a very exciting day for everybody associated with the Phillies as we officially announce the signing of Bryce Harper to the largest contract in the history of Major League Baseball. What he's accomplished in his career at such a young age is truly remarkable. And we'll hear from him in just a second. But I wanted to take a minute to acknowledge something that I think is really important. You know, there's a perception in baseball, and particularly in free agency, that players always take the most money, the most years. It's all about years and dollars. And I think that narrative does a disservice not only to Bryce Harper, but to everybody who is associated with this signing. And I'm going to walk through this a little bit. Dozens and dozens and dozens of people played a role in this. Beginning certainly with Bryce and Kayla and their families, a lot of whom are here today, all the hard work that you've put into this to be here today, and for taking for putting your trust in us and placing your trust in the Phillies and our fans and our ownership. Obviously, Tom mentioned the Boras Corporation, Scott, and everybody who's here from your group and everybody who played a role in this. We had some ups and downs throughout this process, but the commitment to reaching a compromise was there from, or I shouldn't say a compromise, but to reaching a deal and something that worked for both parties was there throughout, and it couldn't have worked out without the efforts of your group, Scott. Thank you. And really on the Phillies side, sometimes people tease me because when I sit up at a dais like this, I almost always begin by thanking ownership, and it's actually gotten into my head a little bit, like, do I do that too much? But the truth is, days like this are not possible without ownership. And we are very fortunate in Philadelphia that we have the very best ownership in all of baseball. Yeah, I'll give that. You know, in the final 48 hours or so that we were bringing this deal to a conclusion, John, Jim Buck, Pete Buck, Andy McPhail, Dave Buck, Ned Rice, myself, you know, we spent a lot of time together trying to figure out how we were going to do this, and the collaboration on that group was really cool. But it doesn't stop there. You know, there are, from scouting to player development, our analysts, our baseball ops group, they build the foundation of a healthy organization that allows us to do this. And a lot of you know, in early January, a group of us flew out to Las Vegas to meet with Bryce. And that was not just about the few of us that were on the plane going out there. We showed Bryce videos, we gave them gifts, we handed over different materials, and that was a product of our video services department, our graphic design team, our social media group, our PR staff, our community relations group, our clubhouse and travel guys, our players, our coaches, our manager, Gabe Kapler, and now in the last 48 hours, we put our sales staff to work, and they've been working around the clock. So when we talk about an organizational effort and a collaborative effort, I think that's what this is all about. So, and most importantly, a lot of you are here today. Our fans drive us every day to be great. And we thank you for pushing us and giving us the push when we need it, because you guys are really what this is all about. So thank you to the fans. And I'll close with this before I turn it over to Bryce. But you know, in almost all of our discussions with Bryce and Kayla and their family throughout this process, the conversation's been focused on a theme, and that theme has been family. And I'm biased, but Bryce, Kayla, I'm pretty sure you just joined the most family-oriented organization in all of baseball, and I think you're going to be really happy here. So welcome to the Phillies, welcome to Clearwater, welcome to Philadelphia. Congratulations.
All right. We're going to bring you guys up here to don that jersey for a first time.
Better you than me. Yeah.
The eye holes are a little tight. They have the same problem.
And now Bryce has an opening statement that he'll make before we take questions.
First of all, I just want to, thank my parents, thank my wife. This process has definitely been a long one, but it's been a lot of fun as well. It's good to feel wanted. It's good to feel wanted by the Phillies organization, by the fan base, by the city as well. And, I love my family very much, and, Philly is going to be part of that family for a very long time. Also, I'd like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Middleton from the moment that we had dinner together and talked. It felt right. It felt like a home. It felt like somewhere I could be for a long time, and that was important to me. I'm gonna grow my family in this city, and that's the biggest thing for me. I wanted to be somewhere for a long period of time. I wanted to finish my career somewhere, and they made that commitment to me, and I can't wait to be able to be part of the Phillies for a long period of time. Matt, Andy, Ned, being able to sit down in meetings with you guys as well, knowing how committed you guys are to the Phillies organization, to the minor league side, to the big league side as well. Being able to see that from afar for a long period of time for the last 7 years. I've grown to, love playing in Philly, love playing in Citizens Bank Park, and it feels good to know that they're very committed to this organization and to the fans and to the city, and that means a lot. So also, I'd like to thank Scott. We've been through it. We were just talking in there. I've been with Scott for about 12 years now. Not officially at 14, but at 17. So it's been a long ride, and it's been a lot of fun. Me and Scott's been through a lot in this process, and also Mike Fiore, Bill, and Tyler as well, and everybody with the Boris Group. If that's Luis or Champ or anybody. Kurt Stillwell at the beginning. It's a big family as well. So. I'm very happy, very proud to be able to put this uniform on, and I can't wait to get on that field and do Philly Nation proud, and do everything I can to bring love to the city and do the things I can to help in the community and bring that family-oriented thing to the clubhouse and be part of that group. So I'm excited to get started, and here's to a new chapter, here's to a new phase in the life of everybody in Philly, and I'm excited to be part of it, so thank you.
Good job.
All right, we're going to open it up to questions. We have 4 members of our media staff that are walking through the crowd. If you can raise your hand to ask the first question and then move on from there. If you can tell us your name, please stand up, tell us your name and your affiliation as well. We would appreciate that. Our first question will go right over here, Howard Eskin.
Bryce, Howard Eskin, WIP Radio and Fox 29 in Philadelphia. Through this long process, and I know you're a social media guy, how much did you pay attention to what was being said and put out there on social media, and did it have any effect on your decision to come to Philadelphia?
I think for me, I think, of course, you look at it, you look and see, what people are saying or anything like that. But it's a family decision for me. It's where I felt comfortable throughout the whole process. I talked to my wife, I talked to my mom, my dad, and we all made a decision to, do the things we could to, get back to Philly or get back to anywhere I was going, and really sit down and see where I was going to be happy, where our family would be happy for a long period of time. If that was in D.C., if that was L.A. or Philly or wherever, it was where I felt like we could win, where we could build a family and do the things that we could to, have a great career for the rest of the time, I guess you could say. But I mean, it's came down to a family decision, where I felt comfortable, where I could build a family at, and where I felt comfortable as well.
Let's go over here.
This is for Bryce. Kristen Rogers, Fox 29 News in Philadelphia. You mentioned the emphasis on family. Why do you feel like the Phillies organization is the right fit for your family and the right fit for you?
I think, being able to sit down with John and Lee and just knowing how family-oriented they are, how they treat everybody in the Phillies organization, from everybody in the clubhouse, everybody up in the offices, and also everybody around the ballpark. I think it's pretty amazing how many tenured Philly people that work with the team are part of the organization for a long period of time. And every time I came to, Citizens Bank, I felt that. If it was me getting into the elevator and talking to the guys in the elevator, or we walked into the visitor side and talking to Butch that stands right there. He's one of the security guys, and a certain amount of other guys that were always saying, "Come to Philly, come here, play here." Be part of our team, be part of our organization, and that goes a long way. You feel the love, you feel the intent and the pureness in people that come to the ballpark every day. Of course, the first 6 years of my career playing in Philly, people behind me weren't very nice, but you know, I expect that. I love that. But the last year, they were all super nice, saying, you know, come to Philly, do this, do that. So that was a lot of fun to be able to hear that as well. You know, and of course, Jason Worth, you know, hearing him talk about it, Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, all the guys that have had great success in Philly, talk about how great the city is, and you know, it's an amazing city to be part of, and I'm excited to get going.
Let's go to Rob back here before we come to Dan.
Bryce, Scott, Rob Motti, Associated Press. Bryce, why was an opt-out not necessary for you? And Scott, could you talk about why that wasn't a hold-up or a deal-breaker?
Yeah, this guy invented the opt-out, and I actually, at the beginning of the process, told him I didn't want one wherever I went. You know, I wanted to be able to dig my roots somewhere, and that was through the good, through the bad, through the ups and downs of a team, of an organization. You know, it's going to be tough for 13 years to win every single year, and I totally understand that. And, you know, being able to sit down with Matt and John and everybody that was part of the process and talk to them about that was huge for me, because I know what you know it takes to have success with, you know, of course, being able to be in the playoffs for a long period of time with the Nationals. We didn't get past the first round, but we were able to get there for, you know, a good run, and did certain things in that organization that were really good. So I want to be able to do that and play hard and play well and have the team that we do for a long period of time. Even through the bumps and bruises, I want to go through that as well. I want to be part of this organization. I don't want to go anywhere else. I want to be part of this family, this Philly nation. And, you know, like I said, through the bumps, the bruises, the goods, and the bads, I want to be here. So,
Dan, over here.
Bryce, CBS, Dan Coop, CBS Philly. For you, going through these contract negotiations, as it's been mentioned, kind of drawn out, but to sit there and wait it out as guys are going back to spring training and you're just kind of sitting and waiting, what is that mindset like for you?
I enjoyed home for another 2 weeks. You know, I enjoyed hanging out with my friends and getting my work in as well, hitting, doing all the things I needed to do to get ready for spring. I think the worst part is, of course, you know, seeing guys going out there and getting back into that groove of being in the clubhouse atmosphere and being around all the guys and stuff like that. But, you know, for me, it was, you know, you don't really play that first week of spring anyways. So, you know, if it was going to take some time, it was going to take some time. And I knew at the end of the day, being able to sign with Philly was the right choice for me. And we made it happen about 27 days before spring training, or before season. So I think I'm okay.
Let's go back up here to Jim Salisbury.
Hi, Jim Salisbury of NBC Sports Philadelphia. Scott, Bryce, you know, at 16, you're on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Scott, was this a day, you know, he's now the richest contract in baseball history. Was this a day that Bryce was destined for? Both of you could answer that.
You know, I had a conversation with Kayla, Bryce's wife, who, by the way, was unbelievable in this process. Yeah, much better than I. When Ron and Sherry first came and we talked, and I saw Bryce play when he was 14, he hit a home run to left field that went well beyond the fence, and he was walked 5 straight times. And he was the youngest player on the field by about 2 or 3 years. You knew that something was really extraordinary. In addition to the fact that I've never seen a baseball player in my life that at that age had forearms like Bryce Harper. It's the largest forearms of any youth athlete I've ever seen in a baseball uniform. But the key aspect of it with Bryce, though, that you knew he was going to be special was he had to take a GED exam, leave high school after his sophomore year. And he did all that in 2 months without a blink, and then goes to junior college with players that are literally 2 or 3 years older with a wood bat, and becomes the top collegiate baseball player in the nation at 17. So there was just never anything about him that was of the norm. It was always this. And yet, in spite of all that success and frankly, expectancy that Bryce had to deal with, his love and passion to always be better, always be respectful, always be greater, those are the things where you really learn that he learned how to manage success, respect the game, respect the elders in it and the people who run it and operate it. Those are factors that tell you he was raised right. And there's a lot of great athletes in this world where things can go really, really wrong. And probably the greatest credit that I can give Bryce and his family is that he's sustained and advanced that unique ability and is really, he's been able to use his skill and his talent to create great art. And I'm so glad for the game that we get to see 13 more years of it in Philadelphia.
Go to Todd right here.
Todd Zlecki, MLB.com. This is for John, Matt, or Scott, all of you guys. The feeling, I think, at the ballpark, and maybe what's been reported, was Wednesday night, there was a little bit of frustration building in terms of the negotiations. I'm wondering what might have changed with where things stood Wednesday night to going into Thursday morning where there's things kind of picked back up again. What changed?
I can start on that one. I kind of alluded to it earlier. I think throughout the process there were ups and downs, but I don't think that makes it all that unique. I think in most negotiations, whether it's the largest contract in the history of baseball or something far smaller, you're always going to have those moments. And I won't necessarily comment on Wednesday night specifically, but I think throughout the process we had some encouraging moments and some not so encouraging moments. But the bottom line is at the very end, we got where we needed to be. And again, I said earlier, it takes compromise, both parties. And I think what was so special about this one is that all parties listened to each other and ultimately got to a resolution that made sense for everybody.
I know from our end that there was, when Bryce and Kayla had dinner with Lee and John Middleton, I think they came away from that dinner with a understanding of a family and a community and an owner who has a strong, strong passion for winning and continued winning. And John did an amazing job of answering all Bryce's questions. And you can see the melding of what Bryce hoped to find out in free agency and the fact that he and Kayla were going to be in a community for a long time. And that was an important aspect. And then the next day, John and Lee canceled their flight, decided to have lunch again with the Harper family, and wanted to express that they listened, they understood, and they heard things, and took the extra time and the commitment to make Bryce develop a level of trust that Philadelphia is going to be an environment that he can win continually, which is his primary goal in baseball, and to bring an illustration of the fact that Bryce wanted to recruit players to a city, to a community, and that's why he didn't want an opt-out. He wanted to do his best to make sure that he could put on his team and in his locker room a commitment that he was a part of as a player, and not only the team and the ownership, which is rather unique in professional sports. And the union of that commitment by John and Bryce's objective, certainly Bryce instructed me, and where Matt and I, while we at times certainly ended phone calls, there was always a reason to pick up and make another one. And that's really what got this deal done.
Let's go to Jeff over here.
Bryce, Jeff Skaversky from ABC in Philadelphia. The way this team is stacked now, these guys, you're the fifth All-Star they have added to this roster. When you saw all these additions this offseason, when did it click that, yes, Philadelphia is really the place where I want to go? And how far do you think this team can go the way it is constructed right now with all these additions? I mean, one of the reasons I'm sure you want to play here is because you believe you can win a World Series time and time again.
Yeah, I think the first thought was, if I sign with the Phillies, I don't have to face Aaron Nola anymore. So that was something that I was very happy about. But just like you said, this team is filled with perennial all-stars that can be all-stars every single year. Being able to meet Reese a little bit through the process of the home run derby and the all-star game, and talk to him a little bit about Philly, and talk to him a little bit about how he is and who he is as a person and things like that, was a lot of fun to get to know. Of course, Arrieta, Eflin, a lot of the young guys on this team, Pavetta, the bullpen that they have, Adam Dave Robertson, right? That's his last name? Okay, sorry. Dave Robertson. And, you know, Gene Segura playing shortstop, who's an absolute stud. Maikel Franco, young guy. Odubel Herrera, young guy. I mean, you can go on and on about this team and how good they can be. And my favorite player in the game, JT Realmuto, that was huge as well. So Matt did a great job this offseason to assemble that roster. And, you know, the thing about the East is it's a juggernaut. You know, I'm not going to tell you that we're going to come in this year and win a World Series or, you know, win the division or anything like that. Of course, we all want that to happen. That's your goal when you walk into spring training. That's the goal of the fans. That's the goal of everybody. But good things take time as well. You got to mold as a team. You got to mold as an organization and really understand the guys in the clubhouse and make that a family. Every guy pulling on the same rope every single day and really becoming that. And, you know, I think this organization and us can be very successful for a long time. But it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time for guys to get going and understand, you know, how to win and what it takes to win and the long haul of a 162 season plus, you know, possibly, you know, 21 games in the playoffs. So, you know, I think this organization has gone through that. I think this organization has been able to do that in years past. And I know that a lot of guys want to be able to feel that now. So I'm excited to be part of that. I'm excited to be part of the group and go into this clubhouse and just be part of this team.
Let's go over here to Matt.
Bryce, Matt Breen from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Two things. Number 3, does it have a significance to you? And then you've hit as well in Philly as almost anybody that's ever played in that ballpark. How much did that influence your decision to come to Philly? And have you been able to imagine what you could do there in an 81 home game season?
Yeah, of course I wore 34, but I thought Roy Halladay should be the last one to wear it. You know, he's somebody in this game that, you know, is greater than a lot of guys that have ever played it. A Hall of Famer, somebody that played the game the right way, was a great person, and was one of the nicest people I've ever met, being able to play across from him in 2012. So, you know, for me, it's Roy Halladay. You know, he's 34. He's what represents that number in Philly. And, you know, when you go in there, you see his name on that flagpole in center field. And, you know, it's something that he should be remembered for. You know, Maikel Franco, he wore 7. And he's a teammate of mine. You know, he's somebody that I didn't want to ask for the number. I didn't feel right doing that. I don't know if that has any significance to him being number 7, but I didn't want to find out. You know, he's number 7 on the Phillies, and he should be able to wear that number every single day. And number 3, it's kind of like a family number for us. You know, my brother wore it in high school, my dad wore it in high school growing up, and my mom wore 13. My wife isn't very happy about the number because she likes even numbers. So, you know, looking down, seeing number 3 is going to be a little tough for her. But, you know, it's pretty much a family number, and, you know, I think it looks okay. So,
Scott.
Scott Lauber from the Philadelphia Inquirer and Daily News. John, you were obviously very heavily involved in this process. Can you kind of describe what the last week or 10 days, the emotion of this has been like for you, getting on the plane, going out to Vegas, having dinner, going through all of this as intimately as you did? What have the last 7 or 10 days been like?
Busy. No, I think one of the things you have to learn to do when you're working on deals all your life is kind of not allow yourself to get too high and never let yourself get too low. You have to kind of understand that, as Matt has said, that there's ebbs and flows to these, and when things are going smoothly and quickly, that's a positive sign. But just, you know there's an inevitable bump on the road, so you just kind of have to kind of take those things in stride. What I think was clear to me coming out of that last weekend in Vegas, we had really 3 meetings. We had a dinner meeting Friday. Scott and I had a long 4-hour meeting Saturday morning, and then we had an hour-and-a-half meeting that afternoon that frankly would have gone even longer if we could. But we ran out of time. And I came away from that convinced that everybody wanted this to work. And so when you go through those periods where you hit the bumps, when you have that commitment and you sense the commitment from the other side, you just kind of work through it. You just put your shoulder down and push, and you kind of work, and you trust each other. There's a lot of sharing of information here that allowed people to kind of get to the optimum answer for both parties.
Let's pop over here.
John, Rob Motti, Associated Press. Much was made of the stupid money comment. Do you have any regrets? Does this qualify for you as stupid money, or is it stupid money spent wisely? And did that put pressure on you to get a deal done?
Does it look like stupid money to you? I think Matt's had a pretty good off season, don't you? First person in the history of baseball, I'm told, who signed 3 prior All-Stars from the previous year. And that doesn't even include what he did with Aaron, the extension, and signing Dave and signing Kutch, who's obviously a former MVP. Look, I wanted to signal that I wanted to be aggressive, and it was going to be aggressive, and I think Matt did a spectacular job. He made himself and me look really smart.
Hal, we'll go to you in a second. Let's go up here real quick.
Bryce Harper from the Washington Post. A lot of looking forward here, of course, but I wonder how you look back on your first 7 years and how you feel about playing a certain team 19 times a year.
Yeah, I think, I love everybody in that clubhouse. I grew up inside that clubhouse. I grew up with that organization. I have so much respect for Mike Rizzo. He actually reached out to me and told me congratulations. That's somebody that had my back for my whole career. It's somebody that, really, maintained every single day and, did certain things for that organization that I truly won't forget. Players in that clubhouse have reached out, told me congrats, and were very excited for me as well. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to play somewhere where I am comfortable there as well, and also in Philly. So that gives me 2 places in the East that I'm very comfortable at. I'm really excited to be able to face those guys and be able to, go about it and, also, watch from afar a little bit and, see how they're doing. And hopefully we can, do some damage as well.
Let's go to Hal down here.
Bryce Hal Bodley. I remember back to 1979, and this moment reminds me an awful lot of that. After an up-and-down negotiation, the Phillies signed Pete Rose, and he signed for $810,000. At that time, it was the most money ever given any athlete for a single season. And he said to me that day, he said, "Can you believe that? $810,000. And I think right now the fans on the street, the fans that are so excited about you going to Philadelphia, are saying, $330 million. Can you believe that? How do you relate to that much money, Bryce?
I think baseball is worth about $11.5 billion. So, I think some of it should go back to the players as well. I'm making 26 a year, something like that. So I think that's going to be able to bring some other guys in as well to be able to help this organization win. I know there's another guy in about 2 years that comes up off the books. That we'll see what happens with them. But I'm excited to be able to be in Philly. I'm excited to be able to be part of this organization. And, for me, the game has changed a lot. It's changed in the fact that, it's a different time. It's a different world. Big social media, everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows what everybody's doing. And there's a lot of fans that love to come to the game. They're spending about $16 for beer that used to only be about 25 cents for a beer. So, I think all around it's changed, and it's getting a little bit different. So,
let's go up top here to Andy.
Bryce, Andy McCullough from the Los Angeles Times. How would you characterize the offer you received from the Dodgers, and did you ever give serious consideration to taking a shorter-term deal?
Throughout the whole process, I think I wanted to leave my door open for wherever I wanted to go. But for me, it was all about the long haul. It was about, being able to dig my roots, being able to plant somewhere where I wanted to be for a long time. And I said that in D.C. when I was there as well. I said I wanted to be somewhere for a long period of time. And we went through that whole process, and it just didn't work out. It just didn't happen. Philly was able to do that for me. And, when I met with the Middleton family, I felt that. I felt that commitment. I felt that. We went to dinner in Vegas with Lee and John, and it was just, me and my wife walked away as, wow, we're blown away by these amazing people that they could, really understand where we're coming from, understand the family aspect of our life, understand the city of Philly and what it's all about. And having that relationship with them as well. For me, I want to have that relationship with my whole organization. I want to be able to be a family, be able to be a unit, and be able to go through those ups and downs with everybody, and stay as even keel as we can no matter what. John wants to win more than anybody, and I saw that passion, I saw that fire. He talked a little bit about him, wrestling in college and things like that, and the commitment he made to that, and then being able to make the commitment to, what he does in his daily life. And I mean, it was just amazing to hear. So to be able to see that, be able to feel that, be able to feel the love from Philly and the fans and things like that. I haven't played there yet, but to be able to feel it on social media and feel how excited they are, to be able to feel the love from other guys on other teams in the city, Ben Simmons, Carson Wentz, just guys that have reached out. It's amazing to see. When you walk or when you play in Philly, during as a visitor, you come up and you see the Eagles right there, you see the Flyers, and you see the Sixers and all the big-time memories that all those teams had. The Flyers, they were an expansion team just like the Golden Knights, and they were able to win. And I mean, it's an amazing thing to see. So this whole city, it's a winning city. It's an amazing city. J-Dub always talks about Broad Street and his stupid little thing that he had, the red glove or whatever it was. So I mean, it's something I want to be part of. It's something I wanted to be part of for a very long time. And I think, we have an opportunity to do that for a very long time. And like I said, I don't know if that's going to happen this year or next year or in years in front of us, but I hope it does. And I want to be part of that. I want to be part of this organization. I want to be part of the guys in this organization, and I want to help out anybody I can. And that's the feeling that I get with this whole organization. It's about the family. It's about what we can do as a city, a community, how we can make a community better, how we can make Philly better as a place, and as a city of winning. And I want to be able to be part of that.
Jason?
Bryce, Jason Stark from The Athletic. I know you're a big student of baseball history. I wonder how important it is to you to make history, to do something over these next 13 years that is unique and historic and that people remember you for.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're always remembered for winning, and what better place to do it than in Philly? This place is somewhere where fans and blue-collar people, thrive on winning and thrive on being a family. I come from a blue-collar family. My dad woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning to tie rebar every single day in, 130-degree heat in Vegas, and that's where I get my work ethic. That's where I want to do. That's what I want to do every single day. I want to work hard. I want to work out. I want to do the things I can to prolong my career and to play for a very long time and be successful for a very long time. For me, it's all about winning. That's what you're remembered for. That's what it's all about. Personal accolades and things like that, they're great. But for me, if our team plays well and our team plays together, I find joy in my teammates' success. I love that. I love seeing that. I was able to see that for a long time in D.C. with Anthony Rendon and Juan Soto this year as well. And you see that, with the Phillies. I want to be able to find that joy if I'm 0 for 4 or 4 for 4. That doesn't really matter. It's all about what we can do to get that extra run to win the game and to win for a long period of time. And if we can do that, then we'll win a lot of games. And I think we have the pitching. I think we have the defense to do that for a long period of time. So I'm excited to be part of it. I'm excited to get going and try to make that run.
We have time for one more question. Let's go to Megan.
Megan Monmiro with The Athletic. How did the last 7 years prepare you for this moment and the expectations that come with this type of contract?
I think the biggest thing come out of high school and college, and getting into college and finally getting drafted. From day one when I got drafted, it was all about he's going to the Yankees, he's going to the Dodgers, he's going here, he's going there. After his 6 years, he's going here, and that's all everybody talked about. That's all anybody wanted to talk about. They wanted to talk about this moment. And for me, going through this process, it was where can I be with no opt-outs, with a no trade, where I can be for a long time and not have to worry about going anywhere else. Because for me, when I was in D.C., I didn't want to go anywhere else. I didn't want to be part of 2 organizations or anything like that, and that just didn't work out for me. But now being able to be part of an organization for 13 years and to be able to put all my faith and trust to everybody in this organization, I'm very excited about it, because nobody in the next 13 years is going to talk about, oh, he's going to the Yankees, he's going here, he's going there. I mean, at 39, hopefully I can prolong my career. That would be great. But, for me, it's about being somewhere for a long period of time, making my family, digging my roots for the good, for the bad. I mean, I'm not going to tell you I'm going to win an MVP every single year. Is that my goal? Is that my success to do that? Absolutely, I want to do that every single year. But there's going to be down years. There's going to be big years. There's going to be years that are just okay. And I mean, for a team, for an organization, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go in. We're going to try to do everything we can to win and play hard and play well. And, that's what it's all about. That's what I want to do. We want to bring a title back to D.C. I want to be on Broad Street on a freaking boat or whatever, a thing, bus, whatever it is, and, have a trophy over my head and do that, because that's what it's all about. That's at the end of the day, I want to be able to go to sleep and know that I gave it my all and was able to bring back a title to the Philadelphia Phillies organization, to Mr. Middleton, to Mrs. Middleton, and to the whole city of Philly, and to the fans, to everybody that's part of this. That's what I want to do. That's what I feel like I want my legacy to be, is all about winning, all about playing the game the right way for a great organization and for a long period of time.
All right, Bryce, thank you. Scott, thank you. Matt, thank you. John, thank you. And thank you, everybody, for coming out today. We appreciate it. It's an exciting time, and now it's just time to play a little baseball.
Well, there you have it. In terms of first impressions of Bryce Harper, I think he certainly made a good one on the city of Philadelphia. His press conference on top of the first base dugout here at Spectrum Field in Clearwater was full of references to family, full of references to winning and being part of an organization for a long, long time, and being part of a city. That city is Philadelphia. We welcome you inside the booth again here at Spectrum Field. Greg Murphy alongside Ben Davis. We are going to